I started, it was 1992, I wrote my first one. I'd been used to writing songs with my band, so it's quite confining writing words to fit into music, and then I just kind of blossomed from there and put into writing into poetry. After an argument with my mother, I turned it into a kind of a poem, and it just developed from there, kind of getting my thoughts down, my feelings, and putting them into poetry form. At first it was a way to deal with things I didn't want to deal with by doing it that way. So the thought of bringing them out, publishing them, did become quite scary. It's still kind of surreal. I've still got a great thrill when I see it on the screen or somebody tells me they've got a copy or that kind of thing. It's really good. It feels great. We've been suggested to bring them out in a kind of poetry, to publish them initially. Obviously the thought of that many poems in one book probably would put most people off, and it was kind of suggested we look at maybe doing a trilogy. So it kind of developed from there, and then with the discussion about if we're going to do it kind of chronologically, that sort of idea. And then I thought, with the way they're all written just about almost like photographs and snapshots of certain times in my life, so we just decided to go with them kind of randomly that way. There is an over-connecting theme in all three of them. The three colours are symbolic, as are the three titles. It was Ian at the publisher brought forward some ideas, and we kind of looked at different ones, and then the first one just kind of stood out to me. I really liked it, and then we developed it from there, and we worked on the colour schemes, and it was great. I just suggested what I was looking for, and they straight away knew what I wanted, and they come back amazing. I love them. Very much so. As I said, they were at first, you deal with a lot of issues that, for me, I was not a great communicator with people. I wasn't really able to express how I felt. A lot of things, particularly like issues back then, back in the 90s and stuff, that people didn't talk about was, grief, mental health, addictions, all that sort of thing. So yeah, they were all in there, things that I wanted to say to the likes of parents and friends and couldn't. So I put them all into the poems. So they're very much, very, very personal. I love it. I try to make at least multiple meanings in a lot of the poem. So I do love it when somebody will read one and sort of come up with something that I didn't even think about. So yeah, it's great that people can get all different things from reading them. I've had a couple of poems that 3 people read it, and everyone's got a different idea of what it's about. So it's great that it can mean different things to other people. Loads and loads of different places. A lot of times I say they come from kind of incidents I'm dealing with or something that's happened personally to me. Occasionally I will get the observational type. I've got one called Eyes, which was over a period of about a couple of years, taking the same train home from work, and I saw the same people. I just kind of each verse is about a different person I seen on the train, and my interpretation of what I thought they were. And so yeah, I can get it from anywhere really. Train journey, or from an argument with the wife to falling out with my parents. It comes from anywhere really. I think at times it gets done both. It's times if I'm feeling, but the kind of again we go back to the kind of the things that are hard to talk about. I'm quite open to talk about these things now, but like the self-harm when I was younger, a lot of times I did do that. And other times instead of doing that, I want to write about it, and that helped me a lot. I think that's when I started to realise the power that you get from writing things down and getting it all out your system, sort of thing. So yeah, things like that, it can really help energise, and other times if I'm trying to deal with maybe a loss of a loved one, it can drain me after when to go that deep. Sometimes I have to go to dark places to get the words out, and it can be stressful. It's actually probably my favourite part of it. I always feel poetry is different to stories. I mean, if you do mention the word poetry to a lot of people, the kind of normal one is to kind of go, roll their eyes up and right, okay, So I think more so poems and stories, you have to try and get a title that really grabs someone. You've maybe only got a few seconds to pique interest in them. So sometimes it'll be a line I've written that'll jump out at me as a title. Other times I'll maybe have it going in. But mostly it comes from the poem. Like I had one that was Draw Frozen Breath, and I called the poem Draw Frozen. I just think it's a title that makes you want to know what does that mean. So it's, as I say, it's my favourite part of writing is the titles. I'd say so. I still think it's continually evolving. I done one just last week. It's called a villanelle. I'd never heard of it. It was a style that Dylan Thomas used. So it's a 19th century kind of way of writing. You have to limit the verses. It's 21 lines. It has to be done a certain way. So again, I'm still learning how different ways, but yeah, it's continually developing and evolving. Yeah. I love to try and, because after 30 years of writing, it can be too easy to fall into the same thing. Like my favourite example is like using the word head to rhyme with bed. Things like that really annoy me. You try to stay away from the very obvious ones and take it in different ways. So it's more fun that way. I think keeps it fresh as well. Yeah, definitely. I think they're all kind of connected to an extent. The forms of music are kind of so structured. Sometimes it can help if you kind of try to stay within the confines of that, and it's continually. It's a great way of moving as well. So yeah, I'd say it influences it very well. A great question. Yeah, I would say so. There was a few times at the beginning I kind of panicked sorting through the poems to put into the first book. I thought, no, I don't want people to know that. No, I need to hide that. And, well, what will they say if they read that? And then I kind of realised, I thought, well, I need to get them all out there. It's not for me to decide, And yeah, I'm perfectly willing now to share the most intimate ones with people. An incident with a friend that was kind of feeling very, very down, and I says to him, just write something down, get it out there. And he credits that with actually saving his life at the time. So I think and I realised how powerful it actually is to be able to do that, to get the words out. So I didn't want to shy away from doing that myself. So that inspired me. That was one I struggled with to pick a kind of favourite one. I've not got a favourite one as such. There's one I wrote, I've actually got it here, from 2012 it was when I wrote it. My very first poem was called Midnight Tears. It related to an argument with my mother. And then my second poem was called Stranger, where I felt I was 19 at the time, or 18. Felt like I was maturing and I was losing who I was and recognising myself in the mirror anymore. So coincidentally, I started writing this, not realising it was 20 years to the date that I wrote my first poem. And then I realised that it influenced the poem itself. So this one's very personal because it scans a lot of the very first poem into it. It's called Midday Tears. Scatter my ashes by my favourite sea. Must I be dead first? Most of me is already there. The ebbing tide takes more of my soul. I am pelagic and I don't want to come back. This night the rain watched as I fell, the stranger stood amid the tears. So long since I climbed, so soon since my fall, and discarded droplets fill a mother's ocean, while the wind steals away her curses. Ashes of a past no one can comprehend stain the beach. Beneath the murky depth lies a man, devoid of substance, devoid of life, little fragments of regret carried upon the wave. Is the wind just the wind, or does it belie a million cries of what should have been? Wailing moments of inaction brought back to haunt. Who speaks now? My mistake, it was just the wind. So I beg you, scatter my ashes by my favourite sea, those blackened remnants of all I was. Who I am and who I wanted are so far removed from each other. Was I even possible? Discard my droplets, let another climb to these heavens. Just say what you've got, what you want to say. Do not be drawn into, well, this must rhyme with that, this has to be like this, I have to do that. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, try it like this, try it like that. Don't just, your words are what are important to you, and don't let anyone influence that, and just write what you want to write. But above all, I would say just be true to yourself when you're writing it. Don't try to please anyone else.
If you enjoyed the video and would like to watch more, hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Also, please see the description box below for a link to our website and other social media platforms.